Hello. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hi, everyone. We're going to give it just a couple of moments to allow time for others to join, and then we'll get started. Okay, great. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Archbishop Mitty High School Virtual College Fair. My name is Vanessa, and I'll be your facilitator today. We have an excellent lineup of colleges and universities here to share more about opportunities at their institution, as well as share a little advice. So you're definitely in for a treat with this session. Before we dive in, there are just a few housekeeping things I'd like to go over before we start. So your camera and microphone are currently off, you're muted, your video's off. Our panelists here, they can't see or hear you, but they definitely want to hear from you. So please do not be shy in asking questions. We want to hear all your questions. They're here specifically to answer your questions. And you can submit those questions using the Q&A feature that's located in the center bottom of your screen. You'll see like a little control panel for Zoom, and you can ask any questions through that Q&A feature. There's no designated time in which to ask your questions, so you can start asking your questions right now all throughout our 45-minute session. So this is just one of many sessions here as part of the virtual college fair. I know that there's still another session tonight after this one, so feel free to look at what your options are and sign up for another session. This session, along with all the others as part of the virtual college fair, are being recorded. And so if there's any portion of this that you miss, or you want to go back and look at contact information, things like that, feel free to log back on to strivescan.com/archbishop-mitty to look at those recordings. Alrighty, so that's all from me. We're going to get started with our first university, which is University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Thanks, Vanessa, and welcome everyone. I will go ahead and share my screen here quick to get us started. So good evening. My name is Nicole Volk. I'm one of the admission counselors at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and also a proud alum of the university. I work specifically with schools in California, so happy to be here with you all tonight and excited to answer some questions throughout the evening, but also feel free to email me at any point if anything else comes up. So to give you a general overview about University of Wisconsin-Madison, we are a large public research university and really the flagship institution in the state of Wisconsin. We have just over 30,000 undergraduate students on campus and have been on a growth trend the past few years, bringing in some of our largest ever freshman classes, topping out at just over 8,000 new students on campus last year. We have great representation across our student body, with students coming from over 120 different countries and from all 50 states. So that was definitely something I appreciated as a student there, was really getting to meet people from all over the world, and really felt like that was reflected in our faculty members as well. Though we are a larger institution, our student to faculty ratio is only 20-1. So you do still have a lot of that more personal connection. And that was something I really valued and never felt like just a number there on campus. For those that may not be as familiar with our campus, this is a really great aerial shot to give you a little picture of what we look like. I'm very biased because I still live in Madison, but it's a beautiful campus. We're right in the heart of downtown Madison, so the state capital, and really I think you get the best of both worlds there, where you have everything that a larger city has to offer, all the opportunities and culture and events that are happening, but you never feel like you're in a big city here. We don't have any skyscrapers, and it has that really great small town feel with lots of green space, lots of biking trails that go throughout campus. We're in between two big lakes, as you can see there. And the city of Madison is a really hotspot place to live. We just found out this week, actually, we've been named first on livabilities.com's top 100 places to live in the US. So we're very proud of that. And we are also ranked as one of the greatest college sports towns. So even if athletics isn't really your thing, it's really cool just to see everybody decked out in red on game day and really supporting the Badgers and have that sense of school spirit. For our academic programs, we do offer 126 different undergraduate majors separated into our 8 schools and colleges that are listed there. We also do have a variety of certificate programs. Certificates at UW-Madison are what would be considered a minor on other campuses since we don't offer any minors, but it really allows you to get into a certain area of interest that you might have without having to take the full course load that a major requires. We do have direct entry programs in both business and engineering for freshman students. So if that's of interest to you, make sure that you do list either business or engineering as your first choice major on the application, since that's how we'll review you for entry there. If you're not as competitive for direct entry, though, we still can admit you to the general university as a whole. So that is why we ask you to list those 2 different majors. Our other schools, our College of Letters and Science is our largest liberal arts college and has pretty much majors from A to Z. Very popular ones are biology, psychology, economics, political science, sociology. Some of those are going to be all declaration majors and typically ones that you're admitted to right away if you're admitted to the university. Other things in our School of Education or nursing and pharmacy students, those are typically majors that you'd have to apply to later on after completing some prerequisite coursework as a student, since they don't have direct admission for freshman students. And lastly, not to leave out anyone that's still undecided or exploring some different options, I myself came in as undecided, and we have really great services and advising there that are helped and trained to help our students kind of figure out what path they want to take. So applying undecided is very common and not something to worry about. For our admission process, we utilize what we call a holistic review, which means that we really do review and consider all aspects of your application. We don't have any formulas, we don't have minimums or cutoff GPA requirements, but that being said, academics is always going to be the most important factor since we want to ensure that you have that foundation to find success on our campus. We do review all students in the context of your own high school, so taking a look at what's available to you and liking to see students challenging themselves in the coursework and still doing well in those courses. Outside of the academics piece, we are also looking for students who have been involved and engaged, whether that's in their school or in their community. And we also recognize that looks different for every student. So make sure to highlight any of that involvement that you may have had on your application, whether that's through athletics or student organizations, if you've been working or have family responsibilities, whatever you can share with us really gives us a better picture of who you are and what you've been involved with. And also making sure to highlight any leadership experiences that you may have, because we're always looking for students that will continue to be leaders on our campus. For the next steps, we do have 2 different deadlines, our early action deadline of November 1st, with decisions going out by the end of January, and February 1st is our regular decision deadline with decisions going out by the end of March. As you're applying, we require the things listed here on the slide, and they're also located on our website, but a reminder of grades and coursework, essays as part of your application, a recommendation letter from an academic source, and we are still in our 2nd year of being test optional, so it's up to you if you would like to submit an ACT or an SAT as part of that application. We also recognize that financing your education is going to be a major driver and where you ultimately end up attending. So our financial aid website is a really great resource with a cost of attendance calculator to give you a general sense of what your estimated costs might be. We also encourage everyone to submit the FAFSA, or the free application for federal student aid. And our scholarship website is WISH, or the Wisconsin Scholarship Hub, that houses everything UW-Madison sponsored. A lot of those deadlines are typically February 1st, so another push for applying earlier since you will have access to that website as soon as you submit an application with us. And lastly, just to wrap up, our contact information is listed on the screen here. If you're not already on our mailing list, I encourage you to go there and customize exactly what kind of information you want to learn more about, and we'll be sure to send that to you. Our campus visit option website is also listed there, so feel free to check that out. We do have a variety of both in-person and virtual options. If you're not able to make it to campus, you can check out a virtual tour. Otherwise, we hope to see you on campus soon. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, University of Wisconsin-Madison. Next up, we are going to welcome George Washington University.
Great, thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. My name is Andrea Frangi, and I'm the Regional Director of Admission for George Washington University. I am based in the West. I work with students from Northern California up through the Pacific Northwest. Very familiar with your schools and will be the person who's reading your application should you choose to apply to GW. For those of you who maybe aren't super familiar with us, really quick overview. GW is considered a mid-sized private research university. just under 11,000 undergraduate students spread out over our 7 schools and colleges. Students are coming to us from all over the country and really all over the world. About 12% of our students currently are from overseas or are identifying as international students. And even though we're this mid-sized school, I think it's important that you know that our average class size is about 29 students, and 50% of the classes that we offer to undergraduate students at GW are going to have fewer than 20 students in them. So you're going to have that opportunity for discussion-based classes with debate, argument, and conversation with students who are coming from all over the world, all over the country, and also getting to know your professor. We happen to be located in the heart of our nation's capital. So our campus is in the Foggy Bottom neighborhood of Washington, D.C., just 4 blocks away from the White House and across the street from the State Department. We're a little bit unique in that our undergraduate students actually use 2 campuses in the Washington, D.C. area. 750, or about a third of our first-year students, will reside on our Mount Vernon campus, which is just 3 short miles away from our downtown Foggy Bottom campus. Many of the students living on the Vern are part of one of our special programs. So if you're considering applying for our University Honors Program, if you've thought about politics and values, Civic House, or one of our Women's Leadership academic programs, know that you'll spend your first year on our Mount Vernon campus in a living and learning community with other students who are part of that cohort. We are a residential university, so we're going to guarantee, because it's required, on-campus housing through your junior year. Just to give you kind of a quick idea of where that Foggy Bottom campus is, it's just about 20 blocks in the heart of the city. You can see the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts right there within walking distance. The National Memorial, not too far away. GW students are the only ones in the country whose graduation is held on the National Mall. You've got the White House, like I said, 4 blocks away, the World Bank, the IMF, Pan American Health Organization, lots of opportunities for internships and great part-time jobs, and sightseeing with all the Smithsonians and monuments. Because of our great location, we're super proud of the fact that the students who graduated from us in spring of 2020 actually had a 92% rate of being employed in grad school or engaged in other activities such as Peace Corps or volunteer opportunities. You can see a quick breakdown here of where for the last 4 years or so our graduates have spent their time. We have 90,000 alums living in the greater DC area and almost 300,000 around the world. This is a perfect example of tiny text of information that you will also be able to find on our website. But what I do want to take a moment to talk about are the 7 schools and colleges. So when you apply to GW, you'll have the opportunity for direct entry into any of our programs, which isn't always the right fit for everyone. For somebody who's undecided, the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences is a great place to start, where you'll have strong advising, working with folks who are going to work with you through the discernment process as you're figuring out what your strengths, what your skill sets, and what your goals might be. The Corcoran School of the Art and Design is a great opportunity for folks interested in the visual or performing arts, some of which will require a portfolio as part of the application process. School of Media and Public Affairs, the 2 majors that are found there, will require an additional writing component. Great L8 School of International Affairs, as I'm sure you can imagine, being across from the State Department. We have a wonderful roster of guest speakers that we bring to campus on a pretty regular basis. Public health has definitely grown in interest and in size at GW over the last, 18 months or so. Really strong programming there, as well as with the exercise science and nutrition science options. Direct entry into engineering and our applied science programs. So if you've always had the dream to be an electrical engineer, know that you can have a guaranteed spot in that program coming in your first year at GW. And with our business programs, know that there are also areas of concentration in sport, event, and hospitality management. Really quick, talking about our application process, we are on the Common Application. We've been test optional since 2015. We will not require the SAT or ACT for you to be a competitive applicant for admission consideration or for scholarship consideration. And as a private institution with what can be a relatively high price tag, we work really hard to be an affordable option, and scholarship can be a large part of that, ranging typically between $10,000 and $30,000 per year. We're an institution that offers an early decision application opportunity for students on November 1st. and then regular decision and ED2 on a January 5th application deadline. The financial fit is a really important part for a lot of our families. And so we are a school that will require both the FAFSA and the CSS profile. The application deadlines for those two financial applications will be the same as your application to the university. So November 1st for ED, January 5th for everyone else. And then if you'd like to take a quick screenshot or a photo of this, this is my contact information. I am your admissions counselor. I'm happy to be a resource. So please feel free to reach out. Thanks so much.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Purdue University.
Good evening, everyone. Bear with me while I work on getting started here. So I'll at least start out by introducing myself. Let me see if I can get it from the beginning. Minimize that. There we go. I need to hide the floating menu. There we go. Now I can get it started from the beginning. So, hi everyone. My name is Sarah. Sorry, as you know, I work for Purdue University, and we'll just start with the basics. Where we're located. We are in West Lafayette, Indiana, which is about an hour from Indianapolis and about 2 hours from Chicago. Really great college town, really similar to Davis. So if you guys have been up to Davis, it's a really, really similar feel to the greater Lafayette area. Easily walkable, bikeable, really safe college town. Tons of things for you guys to do all throughout the year. So concerts, comedians, Broadway shows, professional lecture series, from anyone from Neil deGrasse Tyson, Soledad O'Brien, you name it. So a lot of the same entertainment options you'd find in a larger city. It's just kind of happening right on campus, but all throughout the year. Transportation, it's really easy to get around the area. We have a great bus system you guys can use for free, pick you up in front of every res hall, drop you off in the main parts of campus as well. And then we do have shuttles that go from campus to Chicago O'Hare and Indianapolis International Airport. So it's really easy for you guys to make it back and forth for your flights. We are a large school, but our average class size is about 31 students. So we have tons of professors on staff to help make sure our students feel more than supported. California specifically is actually our third largest state represented at Purdue, and most of those California students are actually coming from right here in the Bay Area. So more likely than not, you guys will actually know a few faces before you start your first Purdue class. A few academic resources we have available to students. The first thing is going to be undergraduate research. This is a huge value to us at Purdue. We have over 2,000 research projects happening at Purdue right now across a wide variety of majors. We have anything from our own nuclear reactor, particle accelerator, a jet propulsion lab, earthquake lab, state-of-the-art concussion research, agriculture focused on green energy, crop management in the midst of climate change, business analytics, supply chain and logistics, communication, you name it. So plenty of options regardless of major that you're pursuing for you guys to get that hands-on experience outside of the classroom. We also offer an honors college. So one of the things that I will say, since we do have a short amount of time about the Honors College, is that there is an application. So when you're on the Common App, you'll see a question that asks, are you interested in the Honors College? If you are, just check that box, yes, and then you'll see the Honors College application will populate directly within the Common App platform. With the Honors College essay questions, we aren't looking for anything specific. We do a holistic review for the Honors College as well. With the common application, it makes it really easy for you guys to apply. In fact, there's only 5 things that we do require for a complete application. There are 2 Purdue questions, basically asking why Purdue, why your major. We are hoping for insightful answers because we do use these responses to gauge how serious a student is about applying. We also ask for self-reported grades and test scores. So that means we do not require an official transcript or an official score report until after you've been admitted. So please take the time to self-report everything directly on the common application. When you apply to Purdue, you do have the ability to choose a first choice and a second choice major. There are 4 majors that are only available as first choice options. Those are first year engineering, computer science, direct admit nursing, and professional flight. So if I have any students in here that are interested in both computer science and first year engineering, please know, unfortunately, yes, you do have to choose one or the other to apply to. When we evaluate your application, just like many of my colleagues have mentioned tonight, it is a holistic review. That does mean that we don't have a minimum GPA or test score requirement. With test scores specifically, seniors, we are test flexible for this year. Essentially, how we define that is if you have a test score, we do prefer to see it. However, if you do not have a test score, that is okay. Please still go ahead and apply early action. You're still eligible and competitive for admissions, scholarships, and the Honors College. The main thing that I want to say, especially for students who don't have a test score, it is far better to go ahead and apply early action without a test score than to wait and apply regular decision with a test score. With our deadlines, I mentioned earlier, early action, that's non-binding. You're not obligated to attend Purdue when you apply early action. It is also the deadline to be considered automatically for merit scholarships. So when your application for applying to your major is complete by November 1st, that's all you need to do in order to be considered for our merit scholarships. November 1st is also a priority application deadline for 3 majors: computer science, direct admit nursing, and professional flight. And as I mentioned, it's also the deadline to apply to the Honors College as well. Our big decision release date for our early action applicants is January 15th. So be on the lookout of your application portal for your admissions decision. We will release it in real time there. But that is all I had. I appreciate you guys coming out this evening, and I'll be sure to share my contact information in the chat.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Purdue University. And next up, we have Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, or RPI.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Vanessa. So my name is Mike Medina. I'm one of the admissions officers for RPI. Welcome, everyone. We're excited to have you all here. So I just want to go over some information here as a quick glance of Rensselaer. We are America's first tech university that was founded just about 200 years ago. We actually were the first university to award a degree in civil engineering and the first to incorporate lab-based learning. We've come a long way since then. Today, we are a campus community of about 6,200 undergraduate students and about 1,300 graduate and PhD level students. Our students come from almost all 50 states throughout the country and just about 50 countries throughout the world. Just to kind of give you an idea of how our medium size equates down to a classroom environment, most of our classes do have 40 students in them or fewer. So the ratio of students to faculty is about 12-1. So giving you the opportunity to form really strong connections with your faculty members where you're not lost in the sea of faces, but still have a lot of access to research dollars. There's in fact more than $100 million in research funding that we get allocated to our institute each year at the federal level, state level, institute level, et cetera. Lots of different possibilities to research on our campus. We have access to more than 30 different research centers across our community. So all depending on, what you're interested in solving and the different problems you want to tackle while you're at school. About 70% of our students do conduct some type of research during their time on our campus. And we're really proud of the fact that we have a lot of supportive structures in place, and we have a retention rate of a 92% from the freshman year on to the second year. So in terms of where we're located, right? So being from the West Coast, I think it's good to know what the region around our campus looks like. We are in upstate New York within the capital region. So very similar to the Sacramento area. I used to live in Solano County just about 5 years ago or so. And what's interesting is I also described Troy like Davis, California. So if that's a good way to kind of think about where we're located, we're really close to the Adirondacks, Catskills, and the Berkshires. And to get to and from the West Coast, oftentimes students will fly directly right into the Albany International Airport, about 25 minutes away from campus. In terms of what we offer for academic programs, they span these 5 academic schools: architecture, science, engineering, management, as well as our School of Humanities, Arts, and the social sciences. We are most known for engineering and our computer science program. The reason that these circles do interlock is because we have low academic walls at RPI, meaning that it's very feasible to dual major, change majors, or declare minors that interest you beyond your level of your major or program that you're studying within. One of the things that makes our curriculum unique at RPI is the Arch experience, where students live on campus the first 5 semesters, right? That's your freshman year, your sophomore year, and the summer after your sophomore year ends, you come back to campus and you're taking the Arch Summer Here experience, where you're taking the first half of your junior year classes during that summer time. And then what that allows you to do is the world away experience, where you take a semester off of campus, a semester away from campus, where you are not taking credits, you are not paying tuition. Instead, you're getting experiential learning and building your network beyond RPI, things like co-ops, research, internships, etc. We have more than 200 different clubs and organizations. Our student body is very involved. These organizations span those overarching umbrellas that you see there. Our largest organization on campus is our music association with orchestras, ensembles. We have Division III athletics, intramurals, lots of different possibilities to make friends across the community. If you are a senior, it's good to know that we are on the Common App. So if you attend a Naviance school, you can apply using the Common App. We don't have a preference for one application type versus the next. If you were to join our mailing list, you would be invited to apply using the candidate's choice, but all of them have the same requirements and the same admission standards. These are our deadlines that we do offer this year, and we do have binding agreements such as early decision 1 and 2. And just like I think almost every school that's mentioned their process tonight, we also have a holistic admissions review, and I'll be able to share my information at the end with everyone, so you have my contact information. We're open currently for in-person campus tours. And if you can't make it to the East Coast during this fall semester, no worries. We have a virtual open house where you can meet with our faculty members on November the 14th. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And now we're going to travel just one state away over to New Jersey with Rutgers University.
Hi all, I'm Sue Chapman from Rutgers. Thank you for being here tonight. Let me share my screen with you and we'll get started. One second, a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm going to get you there. Here we go. Hello, and again, I'm Sue Chapman. I'm the Northern California Regional Recruiter for Rutgers. I live in San Francisco, so I'm just across the bay from you folks. So a couple things about Rutgers at the highest level. We're a large public research university located on the East Coast. We have about 37,000 undergraduates and about over 120 majors. So as you would expect for a university of our size, we have lots of things for students to do above and beyond their time in the classroom. That includes 750 different clubs, sports, and activities. Not the least of which are athletic. We are a member of the Big Ten Athletic Conference, and within that conference, we are the most diverse of the 14 universities in the conference. A little bit about our location, which is very important to our students from out of state. Rutgers is located in New Jersey. As you can see from the mini map here, we're quite close to New York City. We're about 45 minutes away by train. The closest airport to our campus is in Newark, which is roughly right between New Brunswick and New York City, if it appeared on this map, which it does not. So it's about a 30-minute train ride up to the Newark airport, and a number of different airports in California offer direct flights every day to Newark. I typically fly out of SFO. I can leave campus, I can arrive on campus by 3:30 in the afternoon if I fly out by say 7 a.m. So it's really pretty lickety split for going all the way across the country to get to our campus. You can also see here that we're quite close to some other major cities, Philadelphia in particular, which is about an hour and a half away by train. If you were to hover over our campus in a drone and look down, what you'd see is that we're not built off of a central core. Rutgers is a big physical plant, if you will. We're pretty spread out geographically. This is about 7 square miles. But the thing to know about us is that even though we're big geographically, think of us as being split into 5 smaller neighborhoods. Each of these neighborhoods has academic buildings and residence life. So that when one is a student attending Rutgers, it feels a little bit like attending a medium-sized college of say 6,000 to 7,000 students, because the majority of your comings and goings are going to be within your neighborhood, and you'll be encountering a lot of the same students day to day. A couple of other things to point out about our campus layout. You'll see the train track sort of going through campus. That's the Northeast Corridor train line that runs up the East Coast and on into New York City, Penn Station in particular. And that stops right on our College Avenue campus. You don't need to leave campus to get to New York really quickly. Another thing to notice is the blue squiggly line running through the map. That is the Raritan River, which runs through the Rutgers campus and really makes it a very scenic, pretty place to go to school. So a few things to know about student life. About 19 or 20% of our students come from outside the state of New Jersey. And that is roughly split between out-of-state students like yourself from California and students that come to us from other countries. Not a big surprise, it's a large public research university. Many of our students are first generation and or members of underrepresented minorities. I already spoke about our extensive athletic program, Div 1, Big Ten Conference. We have 24 NCAA Division I sports. For those of you who are interested in considering Greek life, when you come to Rutgers, know that we have over 80 different fraternities and sororities to choose from. However, it's not a huge cultural thing to go Greek when you come to Rutgers. About 13 or 14% of our students do so. So I would see it as a great way, if you're interested, to make friends and get involved in things on campus. But if that's not particularly your cup of tea, no problem. There's plenty of other ways, again, to make friends and get involved. Rutgers is divided academically into different schools, and the 7 schools you see here illustrated with the red pennants are schools that freshmen can apply to. We encourage freshmen to apply to up to 3 different schools on the application, and we will provide a response about each of those 3 choices, either admitted, waitlisted, or denied. And yes, you can be admitted to multiple schools. Our School of Arts and Sciences is the largest school at Rutgers. Got about 2/3 of the majors and 2/3 of the students. Our professional schools are pharmacy, engineering, business, and nursing. Each of those schools is going to have a slightly higher profile, if you will, in terms of admission for students. Our smallest school is the Mason Grove School of the Arts. It's an arts conservatory of about 750 students who come to us with the goal of becoming professional actors, dancers, musicians, and filmmakers. So just a little bit about our learning experience. We have a 16:1 student faculty ratio. It's very intentional on our part. It's a big part of our culture for our undergraduate students to be able to get involved in original research with professors. And we also have a very high retention rate. 93% of our freshmen return to us sophomore year. We take that as a good indicator that students are happy and they're enjoying their classes and they're making friends and feeling adjusted to the Rutgers experience. When you fast forward a little bit and think about what you can expect as a graduate of Rutgers, there are some very encouraging things to say. For example, 84% of our students within 6 months of graduating are either already in the workplace or they are involved in a graduate program. And when we talk about going into the workplace, I spoke before about the access to New York City. It's really important and key that we're close to a major metropolitan area because 650 different employers come to us every year. And I'm running low on time, so I'll just wrap up real quickly by saying you can apply to us by December 1st of your senior year and be eligible for merit scholarships and honors opportunities. Apply using either the coalition or our own online application. And we will be test optional for fall 2022. The jury is out for future years. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Rutgers.
You're welcome.
I'd love to invite all of the schools to come back on camera. And I have just a few questions that I'd love to get your opinion on. The first of which is, what advice would you give someone who's going through the college search process right now? What advice can you share with our young people here? And we'll go in the order you presented. So, yeah.
Sure, I'll start us off. I think the biggest piece of advice that I share with students is just to apply early and make sure that you have everything kind of organized well. As you can see from all of our presentations tonight, every school has a lot of the same similar deadlines if you're doing early action or regular decision, but there are a lot of other deadlines in between for housing and scholarships and other sorts of honors colleges and stuff. So if you can kind of keep track of that on a form where you know which ones you're applying to and when those deadlines are, and making requests to have those materials sent earlier. Every year we always run into students contacting us in a frantic frenzy because something didn't get submitted on time or something with the technology broke down the night before, which creates a lot of extra stress that no one needs. So just making sure to kind of plan ahead for those things to come up, and asking your teachers and well in advance to get those recommendation letters, and just kind of keeping track of everything as you go.
Great. And I would suggest, and I know that this is like the hardest thing to do, it's the easiest thing to say, try to stop comparing yourself with your peers. If there are 400 students in your class graduating, there are 400 different journeys that are going to be taking place through the next year or so. And so while it's very, very difficult to not compare yourself to your friends and the folks who are hearing from universities and maybe you haven't heard yet, or maybe you didn't get the decision that you were hoping for, know that your journey is going to take you where you need to be. And you're very fortunate that you've got college counselors who are here to support you through this process. You have folks like us at the universities that you're looking at that are here to support you through this process. And we're looking to help you find success in the best possible way, but everybody's journey is different.
And my piece of advice would just be your own advocate. I mean, this is your college process. Enjoy the process. Don't stress over college and what that next step is going to be too much. I mean, enjoy your senior year, but at the same time, acknowledge the fact that you are going to be the one that's going to be attending college. So think about the major that you want. Think about advocating on your own behalf. You're in the driver's seat now. This is kind of your first step into being that independent, full-fledged adult. And so don't hesitate to reach out to any of us if you do have any questions. If come the spring you get a response that wasn't what you were looking for, advocate on your own behalf as well, as opposed to having a friend or a loved one ask these questions or advocate on your behalf. So it's your college process. Embrace that, but also enjoy it at the same time, which I know can be a little bit easier said than done.
I would say to connect with current students from the schools that you're interested in, whether it's face-to-face, if it's in a Zoom call, if it's a phone call, if it's an email. I think it's the best way to kind of get a sense of the campus culture, the campus community, and see if it's a right fitting school for you.
It's hard for me to add to all the great things that have already been said. Under normal circumstances, when it hadn't been a COVID year, my advice is always to just pace yourself, give yourself plenty of time to, research the schools, get to know what it is you're looking for and all that. And the advice really hasn't changed. I think it's just to maybe add to trust your gut a little bit, that I think you'll have reactions to your campus visit or the people that you meet online or whatever associated with a particular school, and just learn what you can and trust yourself to make a good choice, because you've taken on the responsibility to be your own pilot. And yeah, exciting time for you guys. I'm envious, actually.
That was all really terrific advice. I think we have time for just one more quick question. What's one thing you want students to remember about your school?
For UW-Madison, I would say I didn't get to touch much on student life because of our very shortened window of time, and I wish I could have gone on about all the great things that we offer. But I think for me, I just had such a wonderful traditional college experience here where you're going to find really strong academics wherever you go. And so it's really about finding that fit piece that we have all kind of talked a little bit about and really finding what's the good fit for you. And I know it's not always feasible to get to campus, but if you're able to, like one said, to talk to current students or people that you know on campus or take some virtual tours or check it out on social media, I think those are really great ways of still kind of getting a good sense of it. And just, I think that UW-Madison really has something for everyone there, whether you're big into sports or music or art or just want to be in a really beautiful city. So yeah, I hope to see many of your applications. And thanks again for being here with us this evening.
Thanks. I think that for our students and folks who are considering GW, really the fact that we are in and of the city of Washington, D.C., so shape students' experience during the 4 years that they're with us. And so, the idea that we are in a major metropolitan center is one that I would want you to remember. We are not a rural institution. We are not in the suburbs. We are not on a bluff overlooking a city. We are in and of the city of Washington, D.C. And if being in a decent sized city seems exciting to you, then we might be a really great fit.
And then for Purdue, I mean, obviously it's hard to choose one thing that I'd love for you guys to remember. So I guess one of the biggest things that we weren't able to cover this evening is Purdue continually tops lists and best value schools. And we've had frozen tuition for 10 consecutive years as of now. So we've not had a single tuition hike since 2012. And in fact, on top of that, the cost of our room and board has gone down since then. So it's actually cheaper for you to attend Purdue now than it was back in 2012. And so with that being said, students are able to really get the best of both worlds, that high caliber education and just overall college experience without the typical costs, especially out here in the Bay Area, that typically comes along with it.
At Rensselaer, why not change the world is not just a tagline for us. It really is invoked through our curriculum, and the students are prepared to be global leaders and global thinkers in their own right. Our graduates have gone on to create the Ferris wheel, gone on to be pioneers in the Human Genome Project, create their own companies, start their own apps, design the Apple store in Manhattan. So really cool contributions to the world and the community that we choose to live in.
And I think for Rutgers, if I had, I'll say it with one word, and that is opportunity. I think it's a place with a kind of a perfect storm of different things for you to choose from. Those are going to be academic opportunities. Those are going to be research opportunities. Those are going to be, things to enrich your campus community and beyond. We're so close to so many things with New York City. I didn't even talk about New Jersey as an excellent hub for pharmaceuticals and biotechnology. It's just a great place to really find a really rich, robust list of things to do and to grow. So again, I'm excited for you guys. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much to all of our fabulous presenters here today. I think you all shared some great advice. Students and parents, I hope you got a lot out of this session. Thank you for joining us. As soon as you close out of this session, there's going to be a very quick 5-question survey there that we'd love you to take. Don't forget to sign up for more sessions, and the recording of this session and all the others will be available at strivescan.com/Archbishop Mitty. Thank you so much to everyone for being here tonight, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Good night, all.